Chinese buyers surge into Middle East real estate, leading to $50 billion in monthly capital outflow. China's crisis may further expand, potentially halving its population. Is the US ready for China's mass-produced humanoid robots? AstraZeneca to acquire Chinese firm to boost cell therapy portfolio. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Chinese buyers surge into Middle East real estate, leading to $50 billion in monthly capital outflow. The British real estate consultancy Knight Frank has reported a significant influx of buyers from mainland China into the Middle East, with a particular focus on Dubai's real estate market. Data from Knight Frank shows that during the first 9 months of 2023, Chinese nationals were the second largest group of foreign property buyers in Dubai, representing 14% of the total purchases, just behind the British at 16%. Interestingly, the previous year saw Chinese buyers as the largest client group for Knight Frank, accounting for 23%. Kashif Ansari, the co-founder and CEO of Jui, a major real estate website in China, highlights Dubai's attraction for mainland Chinese buyers. He notes that obtaining residency in Dubai is more affordable and easier compared to Singapore. Ansari predicts at least a 5% rise in Dubai's property prices in the near future. Dubai's thriving real estate market, a central hub for business and economic activity in the Middle East, is on track to potentially equal major financial centers like New York, London, and Singapore. In a related development, the New York Times Chinese website reported on November 28 that in 2023, China's mainland is experiencing a significant monthly capital outflow of around $50 billion, primarily from families and private companies. This extensive capital movement underscores the substantial challenges in China's economic and social recovery post-pandemic, with the real estate sector being a key indicator. Additionally, online sources have noted a shift in the buying patterns of Chinese buyers in Thailand's real estate market. Post-pandemic, there's been a move from investment-focused purchases to acquiring luxury apartments for personal use. Reuters reports that since 2018, mainland Chinese nationals have become the top foreign buyers in Thailand's apartment market. The Thai Real Estate Information Center indicates that in the first 9 months of the previous year, Chinese buyers acquired 3,652 apartment units in Thailand, valued at 17.94 billion Thai baht, approximately $525.5 million. Voice of America, citing data from the National Association of Realtors in the U.S. as of early August, revealed that between April of the previous year and March of this year, foreign nationals bought U.S. properties worth $53.3 billion. Wealthy individuals from mainland China represented 13% of these buyers, leading the group with investments totaling $13.6 billion, more than doubling the previous year's figure of $6.1 billion. China's crisis may further expand, potentially halving its population. The Chinese government is preparing to unveil its 2023 population data early next year, which is expected to cast a spotlight on China's deepening population crisis. Recent findings from the Soha think tank, released in mid-December, indicate a significant demographic shift in China. In 2023, the country recorded 7.88 million births and 11 million deaths, leading to a net population decrease of 3.12 million, akin to the loss of a medium-sized city. This marks the first time since 1961 that China's population has declined, with the 2023 reduction exceeding 3 million. The decline in China's population is attributed to a combination of a higher death rate compared to birth rate and considerable emigration. Despite this trend, the official CCP population figure still includes the 1.4 billion Chinese citizens living abroad who have retained their nationality. A Weibo post has strikingly illustrated this demographic challenge, showing a kindergarten schedule with a skewed class ratio that suggests a sharp decrease in younger age groups. Adding to this, Yi Fuxian from the University of Wisconsin, an expert on Chinese population issues, shared a document from Hunan Province's Education Department. It reveals a marked decline in student numbers and an excess of teachers in elementary and secondary schools. The document projects a drastic reduction in school-age children by 2035, including a 54% decrease in preschool education, a 62% drop in primary education, and a 53% reduction in junior high education. He notes that while the situation in Hunan is serious, it is relatively mild compared to more severe crises in regions such as Northeast, North China, and East China. In an earlier interview with Deutsche Welle, he criticized the inaccuracy of China's population data. He believes the decline began around 2018, although Beijing only acknowledged it in 2023. He views the population trend in China pessimistically, citing challenges like affordability, a reluctance to have children, and fertility issues. He argues that reversing this trend requires significant social changes. He underscores the population's critical role in the economy and suggests that the crisis is triggering major changes in global geopolitics and geoeconomics. The New York Times and Bloomberg have also commented on this issue, with the former highlighting the global implications of China's population crisis and the latter describing it as a population disaster. Is the U.S. ready for China's mass-produced humanoid robots? The Chinese regime has unveiled plans to mass-produce humanoid robots in an apparent effort to insulate itself from reliance on foreign powers by replacing Chinese workers with machines. The CCP's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology unveiled its plan to mass-produce humanoid robots in a November guidance document. The sweeping ramifications of the policy are still being uncovered. The strategy aims to make China the world's leader in the field of robotics by building a humanoid robot innovation system, developing artificial brains and limbs by 2025, according to the document. The move carries national security implications and, according to several reports, will help Beijing maintain economic advantage even as its population dwindles following decades of severe restrictions on childbirth. A report by the Center for Strategic and International Studies think tank found that the regime is effectively replacing people with robots to maintain a competitive edge in labor-intensive manufacturing industries. Robots for Communist. China's robotic push will also proliferate Beijing's communist ideology and serve as an invaluable tool for the regime to champion its own interests. In April, a draft proposal by the regime's internet regulator suggested that all content generated by artificial intelligence, AI, should be mandated to reflect the socialist core values espoused by Beijing. According to the new document, all new robots and AI-powered artificial brains should be guided by Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. Adam Savitt, director of the China Policy Initiative at the America First Policy Institute, views this development as a potential tool for spreading communist ideology globally, drawing parallels with TikTok, owned by CCP-affiliated ByteDance, as a disturbing example of technology used for ideological dissemination. To mitigate risks, Savitt emphasizes the need for the U.S. to restrict the flow of its research and technology to China. He highlights the intertwining of Beijing's strategies of military-civil fusion and forced technology transfer, posing a threat to U.S. companies and their intellectual property. The initiative could coerce foreign companies to establish R&D centers in China, giving Beijing access to crucial data. This access is particularly concerning due to Chinese laws that treat data as a national resource, allowing the regime to seize information stored on servers within the country. The mass adoption of humanoid robots will require substantial data, as Beijing aims to create a large language model training database for AI brains and to innovate in data annotation. Apart from data, the regime also seeks to develop its own high-end semiconductors to facilitate motion control and cognitive decision-making in the robots, as well as the integration of sensing, decision-making, and control mechanisms. Capturing global markets. Beijing's robotic renaissance is already well underway. In 2022 alone, China installed a staggering 290,000 non-humanoid industrial robots, dwarfing the United States' installation of 39,000. This achievement has not only catapulted China ahead of the United States in robot density, a measure of robots deployed relative to workers, but has also positioned it as the global leader in operational robot stock. The International Federation of Robotics underscores the significance of these metrics, viewing them as pivotal in understanding how the regime is leveraging automation for economic gains in the future. Marina Bill, the Federation's president, emphasizes that robot density is a crucial indicator of automation adoption in the manufacturing industry globally. She acknowledges China's explosive growth in this area, noting the vast opportunities that still exist for further automation. To that end, Beijing appears intent on capturing the robotic market abroad, using foreign technology and state-run research institutions to centralize power over the manufacturing process before shipping its robots worldwide. A report by the International Institute for Strategic Studies, IISS, think tank found that Beijing seeks to earn a long-term advantage by establishing and controlling the supply chains required to create advanced robotics. This could result in the regime obtaining significant economic and military advantage in the future due to the cascading effects of being the first to mass-produce humanoid robots. By controlling the initial technology, the regime can dictate how the technology evolves. Arthur Herman from the Hudson Institute points out the concerning aspect of Beijing's strategy. He warns that China's influence in setting international standards and rules in AI and robotics could lead to its robotics industry becoming the global benchmark, sidelining competition and even influencing moral standards in the industry. Despite the proliferation of robotic companies in the United States, Herman expresses concern over the lack of a coherent AI development strategy in the country. He contrasts this with China's clear vision, part of its ambitious $110 billion campaign announced in 2017 to become the world leader in AI by 2030. Relatedly, if Beijing can indeed dictate the direction of successive generations of robotic technology, the IISS report says, it could yield more direct military benefits that will compound over time, allowing robotic dominance to translate into dominance in AI and quantum computing. All of those technologies are also critical to modern military development. The report reads, the fact that many of these technologies, including semiconductors, artificial intelligence, robots and new materials, have both military and commercial applications is fueling concerns about the implications for the security, as well as the future prosperity, of the advanced industrial countries. Soldiers of the future? This isn't the regime's first foray into robotics, AI, or military application. For 2 decades, Beijing has sought to bring intelligentization, the fielding of intelligent weapon systems, into reality. Beijing is investing in autonomous lethal systems in a big way. Its push toward mass adoption of humanoid robots will likely augment that effort. The effort has led some to question whether the regime will field robots in place of soldiers. Zheng Yi, a senior executive at the Norinco Group, a Chinese state-owned military company, stated that China plans to adopt lethal autonomous weapons by 2025. This timeline coincides with the regime's initiative for mass robot deployment. Zheng also suggested a shift in warfare, where AI could overhaul the human-dominated command structure, leading to an AI cluster that functions like a human brain. Beijing's investment extends to AI capabilities in military decision-making and command and control. Brent Sadler from the Heritage Foundation notes that China might integrate AI-driven robots into its military strategy, especially considering the regime's distrust of its own people. He envisions robots playing supportive roles in warfare, including as sensor and weapon platforms, with increasing autonomy and possibly being authorized to use lethal force in the future. The willingness of the regime to employ lethal missions for robots is underscored by its historical use of brutal policies. Mr. Herman points out that a nation with a history of forced abortions might not hesitate to deploy police humanoid robots with lethal capabilities, pushing the moral boundaries of human control over lethal decisions. That future may be far off, however, and Herman believes that the next step in military AI will be a hybrid teaming of robots plus human operators. A report by the Institute for the Study of War suggests that Xi Jinping's distrust of his military leadership could accelerate the adoption of AI-driven robots, aiming to reduce human involvement in strategic decision-making. The extent to which an authoritarian state like China will delegate military decisions to AI systems remains uncertain. AstraZeneca to acquire Chinese firm to boost cell therapy portfolio. AstraZeneca, an Anglo-Swiss pharmaceutical giant, has announced plans to acquire Chinese biopharmaceutical firm Gracell Biotechnologies Incorporated for up to $1.2 billion to enhance its cell therapies portfolio. The agreement stipulates a purchase price of $2 per ordinary share, with an additional non-tradable contingent value right of 30 cents per share. The upfront payment totals approximately $1 billion, with an additional $0.2 billion contingent on achieving specific regulatory milestones. The deal, expected to be finalized in the first quarter of 2024, will result in Gracell being delisted from the Nasdaq Biotechnology Index and functioning as a wholly owned subsidiary of AstraZeneca, maintaining operations in China and the United States. This acquisition marks the first complete buyout of a Chinese biotech company by a global biopharmaceutical corporation. Founded in 2017, Gracell is known for its FAST-TCAR platform, a technology that speeds up CAR T-cell therapy, a method that reprograms a patient's immune T-cells to target disease-causing cells. AstraZeneca notes that this acquisition will significantly bolster its expanding cell therapy pipeline. Analyst Emily Bodnar from H.C. Wainwright views this move as AstraZeneca's strategy to delve deeper into cell therapy, an area where it currently lags behind competitors like Novartis and Gilead. AstraZeneca, a leading drug maker in China, had previously considered spinning off its operations in the region. The company has been actively forging partnerships in China, including a licensing deal for an anti-obesity pill from Echogene, a contract manufacturing agreement with CanSino Biologics for its mRNA vaccine program, and 3 licensing deals with Chinese companies, as stated by CEO Pascal Soriot. Leon Wang, AstraZeneca's executive vice president for international and China, revealed the company's proactive search for partners in China, with teams of around 5 to 10 scientists currently scouting for potential projects in the country. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.